So my name is Lemmy. I decided to do quests along the way, like bath naked on a lake or touch a snake, stuff like that.
Let's just jump right in. Let's start with the good news. Tonight's guest is somebody who we have been talking about having on the show for a really long time. Somebody who I think I could go ahead, I can say without a doubt that this is our most requested guest that we've ever had on the show. And just by way of introduction, I'll say a few things about this person, and then I'll let you know who it is, and then we'll start talking. This person is an international traveler and a former soldier, medic in the Israeli army. I first became aware of this person's existence by reading about him in the shelter logs on the Appalachian Trail. And I guess I shouldn't say reading about him, because what I was reading was written by him. And it was these incredibly interesting cartoons that was describing the story of his thru hike. And I'll give you a quick rundown of what one of these cartoons was like. The first one that I saw was a picture of this guy who was, the cartoon character was bored on his thru hike and decided that he wanted to make things interesting by hooking a piece of steak to a hook on a string at the end of a hook, or at the end of a pole, and walking with that. And in the next panel of the cartoon, he was mauled by a bear. And it was just the cutest drawing of a person being mauled by the bear that I think I've ever seen. It was, like this big, fluffy, cute teddy bear with these sharp, pointy fangs, and there was just blood and gore all over the place. And it was just this wonderful mix of hilarious and disgusting, which I think is a good way to describe just, the overall personality of the person who we're going to be hanging out with tonight. This is the guy known for wearing the koala hat and having a wicked sense of humor. Without further ado, the legendary hiker known around the world as Lemmy. Hello, Lemmy.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening to you. It is so good to talk to you after so long.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, we probably spent about 10 minutes before the show doing nothing more than making sure that our microphones worked and we could hear each other. So we've done absolutely zero reminiscing whatsoever. And this is the first time that we've spoken since the day after Mount Katahdin 5 years ago. Isn't that right?
Something like that, yeah. So we message each other sometimes, happy holidays and shit, but this is the best conversation we had in a while, those 10 minutes of microphone.
It's true, yeah. The last time we spoke was actually, like I said, it was the day after Katahdin, and I thought that I was never going to see you again, but much to my surprise...
You are correct.
Well, no, I was not correct, because after we finished Mount Katahdin the following day, we found your wallet in our car. I don't know if you remember this or not. But we had to come and find you again the following day, and it wasn't really much of a reunion. We just kind of, gave you your thing and said, "Lemmy, you need to be more responsible." And I walked away.
All right, I remember.
Oh man,
that was awesome.
So I want to. Let's get over the bad news real quick, and this is my fault. I was planning to have your appearance on the show be a surprise to Megan. So I went out of my way to tell everybody who listens to the show except for her, because I wanted her to be so surprised when she heard your voice. And I'm so sad. Like 10 minutes ago, I got a text message from her that said that she was still at work and wasn't going to be able to leave for at least an hour. And that if I had told her that you were going to be here, the three of us would be hanging out together right now. But it's my fault that I didn't let her know. So what I'm hoping is, and maybe it's too early to ask because you might have a miserable time and never want to come back on the show, but what I'm hoping is that you'll come back really soon so that just you, me, and Megan can have a little bit of time together too.
Well, yeah, sounds nice talking to Megan again.
Yeah.
Haven't heard her voice in a while.
But I told her, I spoiled the surprise. I told her that it was you, and she was really sad.
Oh, she must be devastated.
She, well, she kind of
Must
is.
cry
Yeah. She's really upset.
in agony,
Yeah, and now
cursing the day she went to work.
I've been in big trouble now.
Poor her. Feel sorry for her now.
No, I really feel terrible because in my mind this is just going to be this big surprise, and she was going to be so happy, and now I just made her mad, and I feel terrible.
Well, it's still a surprise. For me, I hope to meet her, and it's a surprise she will not be here, but it's okay.
Well, we'll get to do this again. What I want to start with is I want to make sure that what we don't do here is have this turn into just you and me reminiscing and talking about inside jokes and just things that only you and I will think is funny. Because while that's a lot of fun, that's something that you and I should do later over a couple of beers. But what I'd like to do is ask you some questions and get you to tell some stories so that the people who are here on Discord with us can get to know you as well as I think I do. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I love the people.
Okay, and then we're gonna get some questions from people in the chat room too. So be ready for anything.
I'm ready for anything.
Okay, so I want to start by telling or giving you a chance to tell the story of Lemmy, if you can. Do you mind telling us a little bit about, just say your name and where you're from, and a little bit about your life before you started hiking?
Like my real name, not my hiker name?
Anything you want people to know.
So my name is Lemmy. And before the hiking, I was in Israel, during the army. I've been a medic in the army. 3 long years of having fun, treating wounded soldiers. I went working in food and beverage in hotels and shit. And then I decided I want to walk around the world by foot. Plan was to circle the earth. That was the original plan. I wanted to start in Europe and end back in Europe, full circle. Then I reached the US and I found out about the Appalachian Trail. Destiny calling, and I knew I had to do it.
How did you find out about the Appalachian Trail?
While I was in New York, there was this girl I met. Originally in New York, when I just landed, I needed to sleep on a roof because I didn't have an apartment. But I didn't find a job in Aroma, in a coffee bar. And I met this girl that I slept in her apartment. She was taking care of me. And I told her about my dream to walk around the earth. And she introduced me of the trail. Knew I need to do it. It sounds too cool to miss.
Yeah. And before you hiked the trail, you said you traveled through Europe. What are some of the countries you visited there?
I started in Greece and then took a ship to Italy, took a train to France, took a bus to Holland, and then another ship to London. It's back again to France.
And how old were you?
I was around 23.
Okay, so after you left the army, you were 23, and you were traveling. How long between? You said this girl you slept on her couch, and how long between her telling you about the trail and you actually going to the U.S.?
Oh no, I met this girl in New York. So already been in the U.S.
Oh, New York. I'm sorry.
But first I flew to South America just to hang around in Colombia and Mexico, because I also met this Colombian girl that I stayed in her apartment, and then I went to do the Appalachian Trail. So if I went to South America around February, I did the Appalachian Trail around May.
Okay, so that would explain.
So it took me about 3 months.
Okay, so when we met you, one of the things I remember most about you, Lemmy, that set you apart from all the other hikers was how often you changed your costume on the trail.
Whatever I could find in the hiker box.
Yeah. So something interesting that happens on the trail that most people don't really think about is all of you and all of your friends only have 2 shirts. So, that's how I got the trail name Green Giant, because I'm tall and I had 2 green shirts. But you see the same people all the time, and they're always wearing one of 2 shirts. And you don't really think about it unless there's this one guy who always changes his shirt every week. And that seems like a strange thing, because here in the real world, we hopefully change our shirts like every day or every other day at least. But Lemmy, when I met you, you had a kind of like a poncho that was rainbow colored and it said Colombia on it.
Colombia thread. Yeah, it was a souvenir from Colombia.
Yeah. And then for a while you had the Pink Floyd shirt with the rainbow and the prism on it. And then
it was the one I bought in Damascus.
Yep, that was a popular shirt that year. There was your shirt with the monkey on it. Just so many different crazy outfits. But the one that I remembered is when we met, that poncho that said Colombia on it. And that sticks in my mind because when we met, I thought you were from Colombia.
Oh yeah, I fooled you.
Yeah. You fooled a lot of people. I think you told some people you were from France. You're telling people.
Yeah, it's kind of stressful to tell people you're from Israel right away. Like I couldn't tell the way people feel about this country at first. Like only later I opened up.
Mm-hmm. And that was okay though, right?
Yeah, I didn't. It was like usually when I tell people about Israel, it was nice. Like they were amazed. Like not many Israeli people do this trail.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay. So I still want to talk a little bit more about your life before the trail. I see we have somebody in the chat whose name is Diane. Or Diane, am I saying that right? Is that your brother?
Yeah. Yes, that's my brother. He's the one from France.
Okay. Well,
he spam me 90.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun with him.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about this guy.
No, it's fine. all part of the fun. So
it's cool. He's excited for me. That's all.
Oh, he says he's proud of you. Yeah. So I want to talk about your art, about your drawing. When did you start?
So like I started on, I think after this first big hostel, after 3 days of hiking, you reach this place, which is very fancy. It was new when we got there. The name of this shelter, of this hostel. Nice hostel. That's where I started with a lot of kilograms on my bag, and they weighted it out and they just threw half of my stuff away. But then this is where the hike starts getting serious for me, and I started to do like a longer mileage with longer hours, and I realized the trail is very boring. Like you walk a lot and you don't do anything else. So whenever I could reach a shelter, I decided to do quests along the way. Like that's when my brother came and actually helped me along the way. Like he gave me like dares to do along the trail to make it more interesting.
Okay.
Like bath naked on a lake or touch a snake, stuff like that.
Oh, no. Don't touch a snake.
One of them, yeah. So one of the things was to take a picture with a live bear, with a bear.
Okay.
And I decided to hunt for a bear to take a picture with. I wanted to document it in comics.
Okay. And colored pencil is your preferred art method for hiking with, right?
Usually I like color pencil, even here, like not only hiking with.
Mm-hmm. Did you start drawing when you were very young?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us what kind of things you like to draw.
I usually draw like comics. Like now I study. It's mostly like stuff like the characters and cartoons. I started with the Japanese anime style and developed like certain cartoon method, but mostly like the one I drew in the trail. That's like my style.
Well, I've already said this, and I'll say it again. Your drawings were so interesting that it made me follow you and chase you for at least 100 miles. And
Yeah, it was exciting. I met you on the Damascus Dome, no? Like on this peak. That was the first time I met you.
yeah, Klingman's Dome.
I can't pronounce it. But yeah, that's where I met you. And it was like very exciting for me to know somebody read it because I was sure I'm like the last hiker, like on May, like nobody's behind me. And then you tell me you follow me. I first thing first, I called my mother and like, I have a fan.
A fan. That's right.
It was awesome.
And now you've got like two.
Yeah, you and my mom.
Aw. Yeah, actually, my mom is a big fan of yours. In fact, she's in the chat room right now, and she was there.
Hello.
Yeah, she was there the day we met. Oh, hi, Mom. Lemmy says hi. Yeah, that day that we finally caught up was really a special day because Klingman's Dome is, I forget how many miles into the trail it is, about 200, 300, something like that.
So yeah, it's like the middle of the mountains there.
Yeah, but it's the highest peak on the AT, and there's a big observation deck there, and people drive to Klingman's Dome from many, many miles away to see it because it's a famous tourist attraction. The city of Gatlinburg is nearby, and so is the town of Asheville, which is where I am from. So my mom and my wife and my niece was there too, showed up in that parking lot with a car full of just
Right, that was over with like brownies and whipped cream.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you remembered what we had to eat that day.
Of course, it was the best whipped cream I had in my life.
Yeah.
I just stuffed my mouth and like enjoyed this cream.
Earth King Boomy in the chat asks, how many languages can Lemmy speak?
I can mainly speak like English and Hebrew, like that's mostly it.
Okay, so 1.5.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I can't practice much here.
Yeah, so we finally met at Klingman's Dome, and I told you I was your biggest fan, and that I'd been chasing you for miles. Did that make you? Did that creep you out at all? Did that make you feel weird?
Oh, not at all. I called my mom. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I have a fan, and she was like, I don't care. It's like 4 a.m. Shut up. And I'm like, okay.
and I think
the pizza was good.
That was also the same day that you met Megan as well, right? You didn't know her before, or
Megan was there. I can't remember. I remember Droid was there.
Okay.
Megan.
So let's talk about that first part of your hike before we caught up with you. What was your start date like? How did you feel on the very first day on the AT? Who were you with? What was going through your mind?
I was going alone, like just I slept like with my uncle house before, and I just went on like alone. It was kind of weird.
Were you lonely?
No, I'm never lonely. Like I have my imaginary friends with me always. but I remember like mostly thinking of death and like I don't mind.
Did you say death?
Yeah, I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I'll die, like because it's scary. I never been in the US before, never been in the wilds. Like the most I've been in the USA was New York City, Philadelphia, like, big cities. And suddenly they drop me in this weird cabin in the wood with weird, hairy people and breakfast and like friendly people. Like I'm not regular for such friendly people. Everybody was so nice and helpful. And I'm like, what is your problem? They're probably going to murder me or something. I saw so many horror movies start like that. And I'm just walking, and I don't know, worst case scenario, nothing. Like, I die. I rather do this hike than not do it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm like going up this first mountain, looking, and okay, that's nature.
Now, this was the first time you had done any kind of hiking in that kind of environment, right? Because your Israeli army time was all desert, correct?
Kind of, yeah. Like, yeah, Israel is desert.
Okay.
No, I never saw woods before.
Okay. So was that surprising, or what was unusual about that for you? Being in the woods.
Rain, so much rain.
Yeah.
Witnessed so much rain. I was always wet. I was always so stinky wet. It was horrible. Comprehends why I'm so wet all the time.
and did you really know what you were getting yourself into? You know, when that girl told you about the Appalachian Trail, how long did she tell you it was?
She told me it was long enough for me to have fun.
Okay.
She didn't say like how much. I generally like I don't have much ratio in my head. Like I cannot understand ratios like heights and distance. Like for me everything is the same. Like
Okay.
so you can tell me like 200 miles, it means nothing to me until I walk it.
Okay. That makes sense. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense. So tell me about some of the first people you met. Who were some of your early friends on the trail?
Mark was my first guy I hanged out with.
Okay. And Mark's trail name was
Brienne.
Bones.
Bones, right. That was later. Yeah. Mark, and actually I heard Fiddling Jim like on my first night there.
Okay.
His fiddle.
Yep. Okay. I didn't know that you guys met so early. Yeah. Fiddle and Jim turned out to be a good friend for all of us. In fact,
yeah. So like I actually, he told me I was one of the only hikers he met along the way that heard him play this first day because he sent his violin like soon after. It was too heavy.
Yeah, that's right. When we met him, he didn't have it. We saw him recently.
Lucky.
I saw him this year, Fiddle and Jim.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I saw his son, his name, like Joe.
That's right.
I hiked with Joe like 2 years ago or so, the White Mountains. Not the White Mountains, like the Alps.
That's right. You guys were in France, weren't you?
Yeah, we did like France, Italy, like the Alps, like the whole Mount Blanc tour.
Oh, hang on just a second. We're getting a little bit of echo, and it looks like it's coming from Captain. Captain, can you go on mute?
Oh, sure. I didn't realize I was on.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about the Alps. Yeah, you guys hiked. You and Fiddle and Jim's son, Forager, who was also a friend of all of ours. The two of you hiked in was it the French Alps recently?
It was like the Tour de Mont Blanc. It's like a 10 days hike around the Alps.
That's it, Tour de Mont Blanc. And it wasn't recent either. That was like 2 years ago, yes?
It was, yeah, about 2 years ago, something like that. And it was fun. We like been there, and then you went to Israel. You visit me in my hometown.
That's so awesome.
It was fun.
Is he the only person that you've seen from the AT since?
Yeah, for sure. Not many come to Israel.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I want to go back to the AT, those early days on your hike. You mentioned one of your other friends was a young lady named Brienne, right?
Right. Yeah, Brienne, and Papa Bear.
Yeah. Brienne was a really special friend of yours and still is. She gave you something that you carried all the way to the end, didn't she?
Yeah, the ramen bag.
That's right. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so she was awesome. I really liked her, and we like really get along the way. And then before she goes, she like donated all of her leftovers to everybody, and she gave like awesome things to everybody. And I got this awesome ramen bag, and I'm like, I'm going to keep it for you, Brian. I'm going to carry it all the way to Katahdin for you, and this will be your remain at the Mount Katahdin.
That's so nice of you.
It like gave me. It was like another quest for me to reach Katahdin. Like I need to reach Katahdin to spread Brienne ramen ash.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, this whole trail was like a bunch of quests for me. It was like I'm like a really D&D guy, so like everything was these missions.
That's right. Yeah, I remember a friend of mine from Asheville who came to visit us in Hot Springs and then again in Damascus. My friend Travis, who you met and became friends with.
Right.
Yeah, you guys talked an awful lot about video games and D&D and things like that. And I remember you told Travis that he was an NPC in your quest.
Yes, exactly. Most of the people I met was NPCs.
So when you play Dungeons and Dragons, we have a question in the chat. Somebody wants to know what race and class do you play as?
I'm usually the DM.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's the fun part of the game.
Yeah. Are you in any campaigns right now?
Right now, unfortunately, no. Like the school is too demanding, and like along with the job, I couldn't find any time for it. Also, I don't have any friends.
Oh no.
Of ironic for the most geeky game to require so many friends.
You could play online, but I guess that's maybe not the same, not as much fun.
No, it's not the same.
No, we could play if you want to start a game of Dungeons and Dragons on our Discord server, we can open up a new voice channel just for that, and you can be the DM, and we'll make it a weekly thing. What do you think?
That sounds interesting.
Let's think about that. I don't want you to commit to anything tonight because I don't want to trick you into anything.
Yeah. Check it out. Like it's fun at all, but I don't know how many nights I can keep it up at this hour.
Okay, so let's go back to the trail for a second, and I want to talk about like some of the times. I want to talk about things that happened while you and I were apart, right? Because I caught up with you at Klingman's Dome, and Megan did too, and it seems like for a while the three of us were the trail family, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember it like exactly. It was like we met in Clifford Domes, and you gave us all this food. I'm like, oh, this a nice Green Giant. I like this guy. He's nice. And then I think we met once again, just briefly, and then I met Megan like along the way.
Okay.
Like you introduced me to Megan, and I'm like, what is she doing with this guy? I thought you were married at first. I thought we were dating.
Really? But I'm so old. I'm so old, Lemmy. How did you think this?
American and gold diggers are a thing. I don't know, but I felt like it was funny or like a funny couple. And then we lost track, and we met again. And this, I think, at Damascus, we met again.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's the like in this this diner place where we all ate. Me and Mark just ate, and you joined, and we were like at this gigantic table. I think there was at least 10 people around this table, like 15 people around this table.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm glad that you. I mean, I do remember it, but only because you said so.
Yeah, that's where you met like this your bearded friend, like, and you watched the soldier perform. There was like a soldier performance there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about Hot Springs in North Carolina, and they had a Civil War reenactment.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, so that was before Damascus, but yeah, you got most of that right. That's okay. I remember all that now. Yeah, because everybody came and we had this big table, and there were like 20 people, and there were a bunch of motorcycles. I remember that too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember it was weird because like Megan was the only girl in a 20 table full of hikers, and I'm like, wow, that's weird.
Well, Katie was there.
Oh no, she met with you later with your other guys.
I think Katie was at Hot Springs.
Oh, she was, but not on this table.
Oh, right. You
met with Katie only later.
Okay, I understand now. Okay, I'm
Still
with you now, buddy.
You and Megan were dating.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, we're doing that thing again that we said we weren't going to, where we're just like, hey, remember that time that thing happened with those people that no one else knows about but us? That was awesome, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then you and I and Megan stayed together for pretty much most of Virginia, and then somewhere around Pennsylvania, we got split up again, and it seems like that was where we never really saw each other again, except for like a day or two here and there. But for a while there, we were kind of like we were in each other's pocket for a while.
Yeah, the trail is weird this way. Like the trail is like a whole different universe full of like dark holes. Like people can disappear on you and then just reappear on you, and they have this crazy story about alien abducting them and then going to another town and coming back. I think it happened to you once.
Who got abducted by an alien?
Like, yeah, people just disappear, reappear. It was crazy. Like, I thought like there was many times I thought I was never going to see you or Megan or anyone again ever.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you're in this shelter just sleeping a day. Like all natural. Apparently we are just like because we keep this gap, it seems like forever.
Yeah. And it's weird who you become friends with too. Especially when you think so early in the hike, you think those first people you meet are going to be your friends that you're going to, ride or die, stay together till the end. And then some random weirdo comes out of nowhere and like wins your heart over with a cartoon. I'm just saying, I love you, man. I just love you. And
I love you too.
And I don't know why. Man. Okay. So let's talk about some of the things that happened while we were apart. You and I were together for much of our hike, but for a lot of it, you and Megan were off on your own for a while, and then everybody just kind of splits up for a little bit, right? So like Pennsylvania, I hardly ever saw you. Can you tell me some of the stories you remember from Pennsylvania that I missed out on?
Like I remember what you told. Like there was a time when me and Megan just hiked. True, it was when she and Joe, like Forger, like got together. No, like around this time, and me and her just like pink blazes after him. There was a lot of time me and Mark, like Bones, were hiking. He didn't like hike with me, like to catch with roadrunners all the time, but he kept breaking his bones trying to chase them. There was like I still kept going with the people I met earlier, like the trail, but each time like I found this new guy just hiking, like either Megan, either Bones, those guys. I don't remember encountering anyone like maybe Purple.
That's right. There was a lady on the trail named Purple who they called her that because she carried purple nail polish with her, and she gave everybody one purple fingernail. And that's you could kind of tell where she was in the bubble because of you'd start seeing people with purple paint pimp. That's right. Yep.
It was up. So yeah, I've been a lot with Forger and Fiddling Jim, like on this area in time. Oh, that was great times. They had like really good times. They always carried booze with them.
Yeah, they did.
Some sort of liquor or a whiskey or something. Always had a fire, so it was always whiskey and fire. Those was fun guys to hike with.
Yeah, we see Fiddle and Jim at trail days every year. That's always nice.
Whoever can hike with him, do it. He's the best hiker to hike with.
Okay, couple more questions coming in from the chat room. My mom wants to know, did you like Pennsylvania? She says most people don't like the rocks. What did you think about that?
Oh no, I love the rocks. It was the best part. Like I'm much more comfortable with hopping than walking.
Oh, okay. Is that similar
I just love
to what you hiking back home?
Actually, yeah, I guess it's like the desert.
Okay. And is there anything about the trail that you found difficult? If not the rocks, what did you not like about it?
Like physically?
Sure.
Said before, the most difficult part was the boredom. Like it was boring, but physically, I think the trail holds like every possible torture like it could. I remember going through swamps full of flies, like fruit flies that dive in your eyes and get you blind. Like half of the trail, I went blindfolded. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember how.
the rain. It was even not snow, but hail once, which was crazy. It's always cold. Don't know what people do it.
Did you ever have a time on the trail that you thought you were not going to make it?
Was, but it was because it was financially difficult for me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was difficult to me to raise money a couple of times. I had like a certain budget.
Right, yeah.
But like every time I folded, I called like my home, like my mother or my brother, and I talked to them, and they like encouraged me to finish it. They're like, we don't want you here, just keep going. Cool.
Don't come home. Oh man. You met Miss Janet, right?
At the end, like on the Katahdin,
Yeah. Was that the first time you met her?
I heard stories about her the whole trail, but she was going with the bubble. I was out of the bubble.
We eventually did catch the bubble, though, right?
Katahdin, we arrived like 2 days after they did. They just slept over there and hiked the day we came because it was the best weather. We did catch them.
Mm-hmm.
So funny, the best weather was on your birthday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because
Mr. Popular by the gods.
that's right. The day that we arrived at Katahdin was purely by coincidence was my birthday, and you and Katie were talking behind my back to arrange something, weren't you?
And we did with the balloons on the thing, and we brought stuff.
That was so much fun. That was my favorite birthday so far.
Yeah.
When is your birthday, Lemmy?
In April.
The whole month?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay.
No, April 8th.
Okay. So I want to talk. Let's talk about what happened after the trail, because this is where I think things kind of get interesting. Everybody always asks me what's happened to Lemmy. What's he up to? What's going on in Lemmy's life these days? And I know it's been 5 years almost, 4.5 years since we hiked the trail. So I know there's been a lot going on. But right after you were done, let's start right after Katahdin. Where did you go? What did you do?
I went straight to my brother in France.
Straight to France. Okay.
To France to visit my brother. I missed him. It was we hung out there. It was fun. It wasn't the end of the trip.
Okay, so you're just still going on adventures. That makes me wonder. Some people talk about getting depression after a long hike. Did you get that?
Oh, no, I live depressed, so you can't depress the depression.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I was busy. I went straight home and I had my old family here to take care of, and I had starting to study. I was busy.
Okay.
I was too busy to think about anything.
So when you said
to applying for schools, finding jobs to put the budget back in my bank because I took a little loan for this travel.
Okay. And when you said you started to study after the trail, did you go right back to into college or art school, or where did you go?
So my dream was to study in the US or Canada or something like that, but it was way too expensive. Their schools are very expensive. So I decided to stay in Israel to study, and then I tried to apply for a school. They didn't accept me at first. I tried again. Then they accept me. So it was an ongoing thing for 2 years just to get into school.
And then?
No, I got accepted. I'm on the second year of school now, animation school, film and.
Oh, I think you may have cut out. Can you say that last part one more time, please?
I said, and I'm loving it. It's nice.
What's What do you want to be when you grow up?
Already grown up, Gary.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I want to work in the film industry. I have my brother who is a director, and he have like his own company for filmmaking.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I basically study now just to join him, like on my own as an animator and 3D artist and VFX and stuff like that.
Do you-
Conquer the world, spread ideas, spread the love.
So, do you think you're getting better? You know
Yes, always.
You know you're good. But are you getting better?
Yes, of course, always.
Yeah.
It's a good school. I study a lot, and I think I'm always getting better. Like it's a nice age. It's an age when every year you change a little bit. You always learn. Like everything's always changing.
That's true. So you do mostly computer animation or equal parts like pen and paper, drawing? What kind of mediums do you prefer?
Yeah, so it's like it's a 4 years school, so they kind of cover everything up. So it's from pen and paper we started. Now I'm majoring in the computer, like in 3D animation. That's my major. What I'm going to.
Okay.
Effects, After Effects, stuff like that, boring stuff. I guess not everybody interested. I'm doing cartoons though. I have nice animations. Hopefully, next year, I will have actually something I can publish. Like a full cool cartoon I can like spread in the Facebook and call it my own.
That sounds amazing.
Right now, I'm just studying.
Okay, and you're also. I saw a picture of you. It looked like you were tending bar the other day. Is that what you're working at now?
Yes, that's what I'm doing for a living. Like while I'm studying animation, I'm a bartendering.
That is awesome.
It's fun. It's a really cool bar. It's like a very American style bar, rock and roll music, even metal like Rammstein and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like we play like Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath. It's a really nice bar, like 400 types of whiskey, my kind of place.
Okay. Yeah. Is that why it's not a big deal for you to be up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning now?
Yeah, actually, yeah, like I'm usually up till this hour just working. Like,
okay.
Usually I just go to sleep at these hours.
Party all night, sleep all day.
Yes.
How exciting. May I ask you a personal question?
Always.
Is there a love interest in Lemmy's life these days?
Yeah, I met a girlfriend while I was in school. She also studied animation. She's 1 year beneath me.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
I'm like thank you. Like I'm like year 2. She's year 1, but I met her before she started studying. She was working there like as a clerk in this art shop.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all getting. How are you doing? And she was like, she was Russian.
Oh,
and I'm like,
okay.
I want white papers.
What?
The weird.
Yeah, you lost me there.
She directed me to the paper, and then I kissed her. And it worked out.
So does she know that you're famous?
Do
you know that you're famous?
No. She know the book. I showed her. I showed all my friends the book. Even like a couple of them order it, especially.
Uh-huh.
But
oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I think there's like 4 copies spread around Israel, just of my friends, and like there's one in French that my brother bought.
Captain in the chat says, "Lemmy, you are famous. Just accept it."
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever heard this or not, but I hear this a lot because I have made I made this audiobook where I had to do everybody's voices, and I do my Lemmy impression, and a lot of people are always asking me, how accurate is your Lemmy impression? And I think tonight's probably the night that I should just let everyone know that Lemmy's not actually on the line this evening. These are all pre-recorded lines that I made earlier. It's all been me. The whole thing's been a ruse. Isn't that right, Lemmy?
Of course.
Of course.
That's Gary speaking.
This is Gary speaking.
Know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want to do that thing that I sent you? Oh,
I don't mind.
Oh, this is what. Yeah, Captain Claimbeard says Lemmy needs to do a Gary impression.
Lemmy need to do a Gary impression. That's how you sound like.
All right, say.
I'm doing it right.
Wow, that's actually it's uncanny. It's like I'm listening to myself.
I sound American. I'm from North Virginia. I came to kill you all. Yes. That's how American sounds.
Why is the person from North Virginia coming to kill us all? That's what I don't get.
Kill us with your great humor. Yes. I don't know.
Oh boy.
It's 3 a.m. I know how to do a Texas accent.
Okay. You want to do a little bit of that?
Of course, I love it. How do you do, folks? Let's try to do it now.
Let's do okay. Do a Texas accent, but pretend you're going into a restaurant and ordering a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke.
Oh yeah, I would like some cheeseburger, fries, and Coke, please.
Oh wow, it's like we're in Texas.
That's right, partner.
Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing it better on the bar, like when I drink something. I don't know. I love it. I get a lot of American tourists on my bar, so I love like doing the accent with them. Like
that is funny. Oh, man. Okay, so I want to do something fun, and get back to the voices thing. And let me. Do you have the script? We actually did a little bit of planning before the show.
Yes, I do.
Do you want to try this?
Let's do it, partner.
Let's do it, partner. So, all right. So, I wrote a book about our hike. Lemmy is in it. I recorded an audiobook. People are always asking me, how accurate is your Lemmy impression? So what we're going to do is, I sent Lemmy earlier today. I sent him a couple of pages from Where's the Next Shelter, that contain, it's got dialogue for all three of us. So we might do this again when we get, me and Megan and Lemmy on the line, but maybe this will just be a rehearsal, and we're going to read through, just like a page and a half from the book. And when we get to the part that has Lemmy's dialogue, he's going to read it himself. So we're gonna set the scene. I'm actually gonna do a couple voices here. I'm gonna do the narration and my own voice, and I'm gonna set the scene here. This is in Grayson Highlands, and a couple of days ago I had just seen Katie, and I asked her to bring me when we met in Damascus. I asked her to bring me a kite. This is another one of these. Hey. Here, this is a theme tonight. Gary wants to surprise people. I had this kite in my pack, and I didn't tell anybody that I had it. And the idea was, we were going to get up on top of this big grassy bald above tree line, and I was going to fly a kite with the ponies, and it was just going to be, a fun surprise. And here's what happened. All right. Long before Damascus, people started talking about the ponies. A day or so north of Damascus is Grayson Highlands, nearly 5,000 acres of high-altitude meadows with 360-degree views. The area is near Mount Rogers, the highest point in Virginia. The meadows are home to the herds of wild ponies. I was embarrassed to learn that ponies are not actually baby horses. Baby horses are called foals. Ponies are 3 to 4 feet tall when fully grown. It was a relief to learn that other adult hikers were also just now learning the same thing. To get to the highlands, we would need to climb a few big round balds first. Before Virginia, these were scarce, a welcome break from the green tunnel. Right at the state line, their frequency increased, and now I looked forward to our brief shade breaks under the trees. Lemmy and Voldemort were resting on a log in the shade between balds when I caught up with them. You guys ready to see some ponies today?
I want to ride one,
Lemmy replied. Oh. You can. Okay. I know you're joking, but you know you're not supposed to touch them at all, right?
What if they touch me first?
Then you go get a grown-up. How you guys doing? We've got a lot of climbs today. It's getting pretty windy up there. It was calm where we sat, but the treetops were bending. Hey, where's Fiddle and Jim and Forager? Megan pointed north. You want to read Megan's lines too?
Okay. I sound about like, can I do a girly voice?
Yeah. Megan pointed north.
Sorry, I didn't. I'm so focused about my lines not to miss them, so I didn't. Wait, where are you?
That's okay.
Megan replied, okay.
Megan pointed north.
They got their speed on this morning.
Lately, Fiddle and Jim and Forager would already be at the shelter when everyone else arrived. There was usually a fire with a nice bed of coals and something cooking. Jim would catch fish with a bootlace and a paper clip, and Forager knew which leaves to wrap them in before tossing dinner onto the embers. All right, I guess if we don't catch them at the ponies, we'll see them at the shelter. You guys should stay near... Maybe I shouldn't read my lines either. You guys should stay near me. I have a surprise for you when we get up there. I looked up at the bending branches. Here I go. I left them with their packs still at their feet. She was disorganized and he was slow. I'm sorry, Lemmy, but that's true. Good, I thought. That will give me time to set up. I stretched my legs as I walked. This was the first time since Georgia that I could finally stare straight ahead and just go. There had always been roots or rocks to pay attention to, branches to dodge or streams to cross. Here, I was still climbing, but I could see. I could see all the way to the horizon. I could see clouds stacking. It's got to be now, I thought. This thing would probably scare the ponies anyhow. I dropped my pack and fished it out. I unzipped the pouch and laid out the string, poles, and brightly colored nylon. I knelt to assemble it, keeping my knees on the parts that I wasn't ready for, to hold them in the wind. Lemmy was first to arrive.
This!
One more time.
What is this?
I snapped the last two pieces together and held it up for him, a rainbow-colored stunt kite with a 4-foot wingspan. Here, you take this. I'll hold the strings. Go that way. He was stunned. I told him a second time and he obeyed, dropping his pack beside mine first. He held the kite and walked backwards.
Who did you? Where did you?
Voldemort crested the hill. That's you.
Where did you to find a kite?
Oh, and this next one is you too. I forgot to highlight it. Green Giant made it appear.
Did it appear? He's some kind of wizard. Bring a kite into the Appalachian Trail.
Lemmy, watch out! I dropped a string and pointed at a heap of manure, which he barely dodged. Now stop! We don't want to tangle the strings. I picked up the one I dropped.
Why are there two?
He asked. Hang on, you'll see. Okay, stop. Right there. Right there. We have to wait for just the right gust. Megan added her pack to the stack and crouched near the pile Lemmy had almost stepped in.
Hey, Green Giant!
Hang on.
Hang on! This is me or you, I don't know. Hang on, the wind's picking up. Get ready! Hey, Green Giant, I don't think this is horse shit. They are ponies, Lemmy said, not horses.
Lemmy, pay attention. When I say throw, you throw that thing straight up. Raise the roof. You got it? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, throw! He got it right on the first try. The stunt kite is one big wing, a rainbow-colored stealth bomber with no tail or ribbons, and as soon as it left Lemmy's hands, it caught the wind and pulled all of the slack out of the lines. It took off like a rocket, straight up, buzzing in the wind like a giant hornet. When it was directly overhead, it soared like a fighter jet at cruising altitude. Okay, guys, watch this! I held one string in each hand, controlling the right and left wing tips. A gentle tug on one would cause the kite to dart in that direction. I haven't had it very long, so right now figure eights are the best I can do. With alternating tugs, the kite pirouetted 150 feet above us, making crazy, energetic eights while we watched. I caught on that if I made half of the 8 bigger and bigger, I could get the kite to nosedive to the earth, turning at the last second before zooming back up into the blue. On the 3rd or 4th big loop, the kite nosedived into a blueberry bush. The strings fell slack in my hands.
Again, more!
Lemmy cried out, running toward the crash site.
That's bullshit!
Megan said. It's no big deal, I said. Lemmy will help me get it back up in no time. Hey, Lemmy, do you know what a fluffer is? No, I mean the pile. It's literally bullshit. Look! Cresting the top of the hill was the silhouette of a head with horns. It was moving slowly and chewing, which is better than stomping and snorting, but it was eyeballing the same thing Lemmy was running toward, the strange bright bird that had just crashed into its field. Lemmy, stop! He did, and the bull moved in. It approached slowly, but there was no doubt where it was going. It had a numbered yellow tag in one ear. Lemmy backed away slowly.
Is it there, number 812? Easy, big boy.
The rest of the herd followed. By the time the lead bull reached the blueberry bush, at least 10 other cattle had crested the hill. Some calves, some cows, they formed a circle around the orange and yellow and purple thing flapping in the bush. The bull mooed at it. Lemmy, go stand by Megan! One of the cows sniffed at it and jumped back when the bull head-butted the bush. It mooed again. None of them are standing on the strings, I thought. I wonder if I can get it loose from here and pull it back to us. I tugged the strings and it shook the bush. The bull mooed and swatted with a horn. The kite shook free, and with the strings tight, it rode the breeze, about 10 feet up. It buzzed and fluttered right above the herd's head, and then all hell broke loose. The cows scattered like extras in a disaster movie. They ran in every direction, mooing and tripping over bushes. Lemmy dove behind his pack for cover. The kite soared again. Don't look down, I shouted. If we get trampled, I want this to be the last thing we see.
Times.
Oh, Lemmy. I like the way you read your lines, man.
The way I read Megan lines.
Oh boy, I wish that she was here to take part in that.
How can you? I am here. I was reading my lines the whole time. Fooled you. Ha ha.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is fun.
Oh, so much fun.
I'm going to be a cross voicer. I think.
Oh boy. All right. So why don't we? I know what I know we have to do one more thing, and then I think we have to go. So let's do 2 more things, and then we have to go. 1, I have one more question for you, and then number 2, you and I need to talk about when we can do this again and possibly meet up with Megan, and that might have to happen over email or on Facebook later. But since we are okay. Since we're getting close to the end of the podcast, I don't know if you haven't listened before, have you? This is your first time?
I listened to a couple of them.
Okay. So maybe you know, maybe you don't. Towards the end of the show, we always have one question that we ask everybody, and that is if you can tell us your best poop story, Lemmy. Can you think of a story about poop?
Actually, I don't poop much, and that was like kind of nice on the trail because my regular pooping are like once a week. So I was literally like town hopping pooping.
Okay.
I hardly ever used the privy.
I don't think I knew this about you.
Never saw a privy from the inside.
No. Really?
Not never. I saw a couple of times, but like, yeah, I could actually like town hopping with that. But the funny one of this, funny one with this. It was so rarely. I hardly have any stories about this.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, trash hiker I am. I never dug a hole.
You never dug a hole. You're a town pooper.
Yeah,
That's
I
impressive.
guess that's a thing. Yeah, I guess it's a thing.
Mm.
Oh, also, I never carried the toilet paper. That was nice also.
Uh, did you just use leaves?
Yeah, exactly. Like the only times I did it in nature, there was sometimes, but I just used leaves.
Have you been hiking regularly since, or is that pretty much it? Like the AT and the Mont Blanc?
That's pretty much it. I'm dying to do the Israeli hike. Like there's one across Israel also, like in the US, but I just can never find the time. I mean, it's like a whole month,
Yeah. Do you? Well,
and I'm dying to do it. It's like I wish just to do it again.
if you can't, if that's hard to find a month to find the time off. Probably not thinking about PCT, CDT. No Triple Crown for Lemmy.
If I'll do this sort of hike again, I really want to do the Appalachian again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to go all pro on people, like, oh shit, I did it before, you noobs. To go all asshole on people. You know me, I'm Lemmy from the book. God damn it. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it like a pro.
That does sound fun, doesn't it?
Yes, oh, I've been here. It's nothing special. Oh, no.
We've got a bunch of people in the chat suggesting that little Captain again says 2020 he's going. Lemmy, come with me. I'll buy the beer.
Carry it.
Yeah. Booster says you guys will be the real A Walk in the Woods. Gary can do the PCT when he's 75, and Lemmy can join him in the last minute.
Sounds awesome.
Let's do it.
It probably take me a bunch of years to find time for it again. I'm like just starting my life now, so it will be hard to find time for it again.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, you're still pretty young, right? How old are you?
29. I'm not that young, but I started life late.
Wait, what do you mean? You started life late?
Yeah, usually like in the US, people going to college 19.
Okay.
I'm doing it like 10 years later.
I see what you mean. Yeah, hey, I did the same thing.
Well, only cool people do it, Gary, and we are cool people.
We are the coolest.
Yes, we know we need to have fun while we're young and be adults while we're adults.
Oh, man. Ah.
Are you doing any hiking?
I am. Yeah, I hike a lot. Nothing more than like a few days. You know, I haven't done any month-long hikes in a while, but you know, I still
not.
Why? For the same reason, because it takes a whole month to do anything, you know, and I can't take a month off. I'll tell you why, because I have a job. That's why. Yeah,
you came back for computers?
Yeah, I'm getting back into that. Yeah. Yeah. So Katie and I bought a house almost almost 3 years ago. Yeah, and we were 2 years after the trail. Okay, I wrote the book, and that did well. And then I wrote
it was enough to buy you a house. Damn.
Well, hang on. It's you know it was enough. It was enough that the bank thought that I had a job. So. Yeah. So after the book came out, it did well, and after the second book came out, we were thinking about selling everything and living in a van. And our plan was to spend the next couple years, bouncing around national parks. Yeah, kind of doing what Forager is doing, just like traveling and doing whatever the heck we want. And we were in the process of selling things. Like I had already sold my telescopes and a bunch of other things. We were getting rid of things. And this dream house just kind of came out of nowhere. I say came out of nowhere. I mean, like it became for sale, and we were not expecting it to. And it was one of those things that was just like, oh, this is too good to be true. We have to do this. So
this capitalistic blood in your vein took over.
Well, I'll tell you about it. Our house is in the forest in western North Carolina, not too far from Hot Springs, where we met, or Clingman's Dome, where we met. That same forest, Pisgah National Forest. and we have 10 acres. I don't know if you can picture how big an acre is, but we basically live on the side of a mountain, and we have our own trail in our yard that the whole thing loops around. It's more than a mile. So
that's so cool. So you're trail angeling?
So yeah, we've been building this trail for the last 2 years while living in the house on the mountain. So when you ask why I haven't gone any long hikes, that's why, because we've been fixing up this old house and building these trails, and so I'm still living in the mountains and getting my green tunnel time. Just all I have to do is step out the kitchen door and it's right there. So that's
so awesome. Yeah, that's like a dream come true.
It really is. Yeah. I have to remind myself sometime how incredibly lucky we are. And
there's like in Israel, you can never find something like that, like nature and wild. Like everything here is so small. Like every house is stuck to another house. Like and it's fun. I'm jealous, like U.S. life in this matter.
No, it's it sounds nice, but what I'm leaving out is the fact like the house was abandoned for like 2 or 3 years, so like it really needed a lot of work. It was literally falling apart when we bought it, and we've been hacking away at the trees, and it was really a mess. It
sounds fun. It sounds like a diary chapter.
It's a lot of work, but that's. You've been going to school and studying art, and I've been getting my degree in...
We're building your own house, damn it.
Work.
That sounds awesome.
Getting my degree in how to use a machete.
But I'm getting aroused.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I've seen Megan a few times. Probably about once a year we get together, either on purpose or by accident. A couple times.
Days, no?
Yeah, we trail days. We both went this year. Last year we went to. Do you remember the Gathering?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's at the end of the hiking season.
I don't think I got there.
No, that would have been. I think you would have been on an airplane when that was going on. But we've run into each other at those a couple times, and of course we talk on this podcast almost every single week. Just my luck. The one time you're here, she's not. I feel terrible. Again, I'm gonna not beat myself up. We'll get the three of us on at the same time. I promise.
It's okay. We got our intimate time together.
That's true. Yeah,
you like it, like the good old days where I kept my tent on top of yours.
Yes. Oh man.
There was no Megan back there.
All right, I think I'm going to do one more thing that I think is going to be fun, and then I think maybe we're gonna wrap up the show on this final thing. Lemmy, you know how much I love you, right? You're special to me, and
no, your tent was always up for me.
That's right. My tent flap is always open for you, buddy.
It was always ending when I came.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but do you remember that I wrote a song about you?
Yes, of course. I still have it on video.
Yeah. So actually, it's not a song. It's a rap, though. I wrote a rap about Lemmy.
I have it in a dark file in a dark spot in my dark computer.
Yes, there is video of this, and we'll find it and post it up. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to try to do a live performance. See if I can remember this thing. I think we need to set this one up first. So there's a couple things that we need to know about Lemmy before we do the Lemmy rap, and then we'll end the song on the. Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah. Okay. So we know. Oh, I know. One of the things that I really remembered and liked about hiking with you was your gigantic walking sticks that you had. And for the benefit of people
I just
found
the rep.
Well, why don't you want to put that in the chat and we'll just watch that, but don't do it yet because I want to talk about it first. But that's the one from where we were at the base of Katahdin, right?
Yes.
Is that the one? Okay. I'll tell a little bit of a story to set it up first. But your walking sticks. You had these big walking sticks that you carved things into every time you had a new memory, and you called them your memory sticks. Do you still have those?
Yes, I do. I have like the main one, the broken one.
Okay.
Oh,
And what do you have carved on those? Help me remember.
that's what the memory stick is for, to help you remember. So there's like a bear for Papa Bear that I met. There's like a pit bull because we used to name Brienne a pit bull. Like this dog, I forgot the name, but like this dog who is tough. There's Wildfire for the time I met Wildfire. I basically like carved down like people I met now that I see.
And you
Yeah.
you started with 2, but there's only one left because one didn't like one disappear in Manhattan or something. I forget what happened to that one.
Like I have the original one, which was most of the hike. I had it for like almost 3 months in use, and it was like really getting nice because of the walk. So the bottom was all smooth. The stick itself is all smooth. It was like really. It got a nice shape also because of the curving. I stopped with the curving after a while because I didn't have any knife. I dropped it because of the weight. But I did walk, and then we tried to take a selfie at this mountain, and I stepped on it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I just kept the top part with all the curving, stick it in my bag. Like for a while, I tried to fix it, so I put like nails and shit, and like
I remember. Yeah.
And I tried to walk with it, but every time I put my weight, the nails just pop out and it broke again. And it was getting like after the 5th time I tried to fix it, I was like, okay, I'm not going to throw it. And I just kept the curved part. And then I brought it home and my dog ate it. Chewed up.
No.
Memories.
Oh, man. Yeah, you carried those sticks everywhere. And I remember that you could always tell when Lemmy was behind you. You didn't even have to turn around because they made a very distinct sound on the trail. You could always hear Lemmy coming.
I made a very distinct sound on the trail.
You do, yes.
I scared a bear. He was like running and pooping. That's a funny poop story. I made a bear poop of fear.
What?
Yes, apparently bears don't like Metallica. I was like going with my... like I put loud music, so to pleasant my walking before I had headphones. So I just put Metallica on my bag and just all time. And suddenly, out of the bushes, I see this bear running for his life, pooping on his way out of me. Like this bear did not like this music.
Oh man! Oh no, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, just things like that. You could always hear Lemmy coming. We were
Which is
we were split up through the 100-mile wilderness, and that happened right after we did Mahoosuc Notch together and all of southern Maine. And remember when we did the pinky swear, where we hooked our fingers and promised we will finish this trail together, and then we broke up. We split up in the 100-mile wilderness. Somehow I was all by myself for almost all 5 or 6 days, however long.
Yeah, because you're running ahead or something like that. You was just like a day ahead. Me and Megan needed to hike like full nighter. We hiked like I think 28 hours straight.
That's right. Yeah. Right before the very end, you guys pushed 60 miles in 2 days or something crazy like that?
Yeah, we finished 60 miles, more than half of the trail. Instead of sleeping, we kept on walking through the night and then reach the last stop on the noon of the next day.
I want to hear more about that in part 2 when we get Megan. But while we were apart in the 100-mile wilderness and I was all by myself, I was missing my friends, and Lemmy inspired me to write a song about him. And it opens with him walking up to the shelter late at night with his 2 big sticks and his burning headlamp. And actually, it was a rap. It wasn't really a song. And after we finished Katahdin at the base of the mountain, I told Lemmy that I wrote this rap about him and did an impromptu performance of it. And I think that's the video that you have, right?
Yes, you want me to put it? I just pull it in it.
Yeah, I think if you.
Yeah, you cannot watch it here. I guess that's too bad. Yep. Sing it. You know the lyrics.
I do, and if it's going to be done in 4 seconds, and if this doesn't play, then I'll just do a live performance.
What is the
left foot, then right? His pack is way too heavy, and his rain flies never tight. Back in the day, they called him Taj Mahal. His tent was gigantic. He carried it all. He brought beans and greens and tangerines. One time he even brought a dozen cans of sardines. You'd think that by now he would have gotten all the way to the top of Mount Katahdin, but he's taking his time so he can draw and paint and learn new words like blumpkin and taint. People always tell me I should keep him in line. I think it's because he always puts his tent next to mine. His wicked sense of humor makes all the girlies holla. He wears a silly hat that looks just like a koala. If he had his own TV show, they'd give him an Emmy. It's the legendary hiker known around the world as Lemmy.
Oh, man. I'm so glad you have that.
Yes, it's the last video in my traveling file, so it was easy to find.
Yeah, it only comes up as audio. That's you guys didn't miss anything. Yeah, there is a video, but I'll have to put it on on YouTube so you guys can see it.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy. Oh, what the hell? Okay, it's just insanity in the chat room now. All right. Does anybody have any last questions for Lemmy before we hang this up and call it a night? Several people are typing. While we're waiting for people to type, Lemmy, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I don't know if you've been watching in the chat or not, but everyone is saying this is the best episode ever. I don't know if that's true or not, but I am really, really glad that we finally did this, man. This is so cool. I'm so glad that we got to talk.
It was awesome. Me. Was wondering when we will give me a call.
Well,
you said you will keep in touch.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this.
You didn't keep.
Oh, now come on now.
It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. It's all going to be okay. So
it was fun.
I don't want to say goodbye. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna sign off either. I'm not gonna do the whole end of the episode thing because I don't think this one's done yet. We need to record more, and we need to get Megan on the line. Now's not really the time to figure that out, but we will figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do it on Facebook. I need to check my schedule. Okay. I'm a busy man, Gary.
Okay, all right.
I see have a schedule. I will talk with my secretary, and I see when I can budge you in.
Perfect. All right. Well, in that case, I'm not going to say goodbye, but I am going to go because it's 3 a.m. where you are, and I have to have dinner, and we're not done. So I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just gonna say see you later. How about that?
Don't say goodbye. Say hello, 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 hello,
hello, hello.
Goodbye. I say hello.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
So they have a song that says pretty much what you want to. They don't say goodbye. They say hello. So I say hello to you.
All right then. Hello.
Hello and good night.
Hello and good night.
I'm going to sleep now. Thank you very much for having fun. And thank you, Captain and Hika Nagma. And Diane, my brother, I love you. And Earth King Boomy. Yeah, I know it is from the Avatar. Oh, you're awesome. And Booster, of course, there's always a Booster in the group. Yes. Nice to meet you. Is your wife here? Where is your wife?
Gamera is Katie.
Gemera.
Mm-hmm.
Gemera. They call me the turtle because I'm slow and big.
Okay.
In Spanish, it's tortuga.
Tortuga.
So, hi Katie, good to see Gemera, good to see you too. Hello to everybody, nice to meet you all.
And we will see you next time.
Yes, we'll talk about the next time, and we say hello to Megan, also Voldemort, or this girl.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, good night. I'm from North Virginia. I came to kill you all, yes.